VSP is back again. Nice hard long day at work. Listening to some Milwaukee music off of Milwaukee stereo today. Because I forgot my JBL boombox. I'm a dummy. Yeah, I got a question. I got 4 Bose speakers in front of me. What is Bose, Fender, Samsung, Pioneer, Rotel, TIAC, Anthem, NAD as in NAD, Crown, Bang & Olufsen, Onkyo, Klipsch, Polk Audio. Good God, the list could go on. What do they have in common? Well, I'll tell you. Ice Power. Do you know what Ice Power is? If you don't, Google it. It's cool. They are pretty much, well, they're not the godfather of Class D amplification, but they are, I don't know, probably very close to one of the godfathers of Class D amplification. I think they were the first to get it pretty much right, seeing as a partnership was founded with Bang & Olufsen in 1999 with Ice Power to do those self-powered speakers that there's quite a few reviewers that like them quite a bit. So everything on this list I have absolutely no issues with. So where's Ice Power made? Ice Power is a Danish company out of Denmark. So I kind of like a lot of products that come out of Scandinavia. I'll give you a couple. Pretty much everything I mentioned already. Plus those icons that come out of Norway, those speakers. Icon 12, I think they're called. Infinity speakers that come out of Sweden. Oh, there's quite a few different products that use Crown amplifiers. There's another one, uses Ice Power for amplification, Class D. Where am I going with this? Okay, first of all, I'm old enough to have heard Class A and B. I'm also old enough to absolutely love Class A and Class B. But I'm also young enough to have heard just about everything Class D that's available to the average person. Pioneer amplification, Crown amplification, Rotel, I've heard that. TIAC, I've heard that. Anthem, I've installed a few. Crown, I own 2 or 3 of those. I don't own any Bowers and Wilkins. I own tons of Samsung. I don't think I have anything amplified by Samsung, like a soundbar, which is probably amplified by Ice Power. I do not own a Fender. My nephew does, however. And I believe that his amplifier is a Fender. Not sure. I haven't seen him in a while. But the chances of it being powered by Ice Power is probably... there's probably a chance. There's a guy that sent me 2 speakers today to see if I was interested in. They were Polk Audio, something 2000, and they're older. I haven't responded to them yet. But they're self-powered speakers, 200 watts each. I am slightly interested, but not really. Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to hear them, I think. But the truth is I'm actually going somewhere with this story. Okay. So if you've got an AVR, chances are you're Class D. Are you all running ICE power? No, the Chinese have gotten into ICE power big time. Not ICE power, but Class D. Where I'm going with this is, why am I called VSP Viking Hi-Fi? Why? Well, first of all, I've been using ICE power since I was a kid. And I didn't even know it. Not really a kid, but when I was starting to get into my car stereo days and stuff, I was using ICE power and didn't even know it. I liked Infinity speakers and didn't even know that they were Scandinavian made. I just didn't know. The more and more and more you journey down the hi-fi, you just learn more and more. So I've been in love with these products for years. I remember I still have the first ICE power amplifier for my Pioneer Premier 12-inch sub, which were beautiful subs back in the early, well, not early 90s, but 90s, 2000s. Pioneer Premier was spectacular stuff back when Pioneer was really kicking ass. I was an Alpine guy. But anyway, a lot of these guys used ICE modules. My great grandmother was from Norway. And she was pretty much pagan. No bullshit. I was born, I was probably 6 months old when she passed away. Never got to meet her. She taught her daughter, Esther, pagan ways. Esther taught her son, which was my father, pagan ways. And my father taught me. Not my brother, not my sister, just me, because I was the one who listened. He told me about, the 9 realms. Before Thor was, well, he was probably a comic book, but before Thor was a movie, you know what I mean? When you actually had to read about him, he knew all about Odin. He knew all about Freya, Thor, all the gods. He knew about them all. He was also an Anglo-Saxon from England. So he was whatever percentage Norwegian, Scandinavian. Now my mother was from, well, she was born in Canada, but her lineage goes back. They came here in 1752 into Canada, and were fur traders. And she was from Normandy. Who was a big name in Normandy? Who was a big name in Normandy if it came to Vikings? And Vikings don't call themselves Vikings. That's a name that we gave them to describe them. They were just Northmen. Like my father, when he was alive, always had a Yule time log for Christmas. It was like he had to have a house with a fireplace. When he bought a house, it had to have a fireplace. He was pissed off he named me the name he named me. He wanted to name me Eric. Eric the Red, he said, the most famous Viking of all. Now, some people would think that Ragnar off of the Vikings show is the most famous Viking of all. No, it's Eric the Red and Blood Axe. They're all great stories. But my dad knew everything about Eric the Red. And my dad was a redhead too. My brother's blonde. My sister is brunette, all with blue eyes. So yeah, that's where VSP Viking Hi-Fi, progressive Hi-Fi comes in. I like progressive rock. So I kind of incorporated that into the name. My father was an Anglo-Saxon berserker Viking. He just was. He was 3/4 crazy, but he was an engineer. But he could do anything. First time I ever heard music, and I've said this before, was on my dad's 1010 Pioneer, Serwin Vega speakers. Class AB, wicked. But the truth is most of the money that I've spent on stereo equipment prior to studying or understanding stereo equipment in my early 20s, my early 30s when I started really understanding it, was pretty much all Scandinavian stuff. Like, I mean, Pioneer is Pioneer, it's Japanese. There's tons of companies here that are, European, there's American, but they all incorporate ice power, which is Scandinavian, Danish. And my favorite speaker in the world is Klipsch. But there's one speaker that has interested me more than anything, and that's the Icon 12. And that's just based on how many reviews I've seen on them. The cost deters me, but I don't know. Maybe it was all just meant to be. I just kind of started it that way. Anyway, you guys all have a good day, and I'll try and have a good night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.